Hello, welcome to another episode of Z.Pixel.Bro. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm gonna just give you a little introduction to Zbrush, and I really want you guys to have a basic understanding of the program actually we're gonna use for some of the forest, right? So let's get started. When you open Zbrush, you're gonna have this beautiful UI. You're gonna say, oh my god, what is this? And yes, at first it's gonna be really confusing because you see little things, but you're gonna see a lot of buttons, and you're gonna say, this is overwhelming. And yes, at first it's a little bit overwhelming, but if with practice you will get better at it. I promise you that. But you need to practice. If you don't practice, you will not get better. Okay, so practice. So at first, you're gonna have, like I said, the UI, and when you open, you just want to scope like everybody else out there, right? So you just do this. Oh, wait a minute. This is not a result that I want, but easy. You just press Control N, and then you erase that, right? So at first you want to put a little circle. If you want a circle, go to Tool, and you have a lot of shapes and everything you guys want here. This is one of the ways. If you want another, you go to here to Tools, and you have a lot of shapes, and you have a body, you have faces, and anything you guys want. You can convert it here and just click it. Man, you're gonna have the result. So, but let's go here to Tool and circle, and when you press circle, you're gonna have, it's not gonna appear in UI. Just click and drag, boom. But click and drag is not enough. You cannot sculpt right now. If you try to sculpt, you're gonna appear another circle, right? Or any shape you guys have. So you press Control N again, boom, to erase it in the canvas, and you click and drag again. And the way to start sculpting on the program, you just press T over here, or in Edit. You press T or press Edit, and bam, you have a little square, white square, to just start moving around. So to start moving around your shapes, if you want to just move around, you can press click, not pressing on the canvas, just click outside the geometry, and you can move it around. If you want to move the geometry around, just press Alt and click, and you can move around the canvas, right? You can move it up and down, Alt to move it around, right? So there's a basic way. If you want to start sculpting, you cannot. You can enable Polymesh 3D. You're gonna find it over here in Tools. Just press Make Polymesh 3D, and that's it. You can start sculpting now, but you don't have the symmetry. And this is the powerful tool of Zbrush, right? Have symmetry. If you want symmetry, like any program, press Control C to go undo. If you want symmetry, press X and press X, and bam, you have symmetry now. There's one other way, and we are not finished yet. Okay, so this is the basic way. If start practicing with this kind of information. If you want more brushes, just press B, and you have all the kind of informations here, and all the brushes that you need. You find move. You're gonna find move over here. You press move to get the brush bigger, the draw size. Press S, and you're gonna appear this shortcut. If you don't want to press S, draw size over here in the top. You can move it around. You can move the scope and all that. If you want to change the material, just press here the circle, and take the material you want. I always use matte cap because it's more easy for my eyes, and you can read the shape better and all that. I don't like this gradient in the back of the canvas. I always go here to document, and here in range, I always put it in 0. I really like a solid color in the back. It really helped me a lot to scope and see the shape of my character. One of the things I actually want to say to you guys, if you guys want to start putting the detail, let's say this character or anything I'm doing right now just have the second generation of details, So I want to start building up geometry. Here in geometry, to subdivide, just press divide or Control D, and you see you're gonna start dividing again. But here's the situation. If you start, putting details and all that, and you start subdividing, and then subdivide again, you have 2 million polygons, but you're gonna have really hard time to smooth out. And to smooth, just press Shift and click, and you start smoothing. But if I put this in second subdivision, you see, I can smooth out more easy. When you're finding shapes and putting a little bit of details, I don't recommend you to go so up in the geometry, because you are not gonna smooth anything. I will promise you that. So try to always maintain your subdivision in a way that you can control the geometry and control of your details. And when you are just finished, you don't want to change the silhouette of your character. Then put it in the subdivision high enough to just put the third generation of detail, those wrinkles and scars, anything you guys want. That is the way to, that subdivision, like 5 or 6, put all the information in that subdivision. So this is the basics of ZBrush. So you can now go to geometry and say, okay, the famous dynamis. If you're in dynamis, you would just find the silhouette, just go to resolution, put it to 40, and put dynamis. You're gonna say, hey, you have subdivision. Do you want to save that subdivision? And say, well, no, because I'm finding the silhouette. So you go, and if you want to see the geometry, just go over here and polyframe, push polyframe or Shift F, and you can see the frame of your circle, character, anything you guys have. So this is a really basic understanding of ZBrush. So just to get started, when we are building out some of the forest, I will explain all the brushes and everything I'm using. And so don't worry, this is the basic understanding of ZBrush. The next episode, I just want to introduce how to custom UI. So let's go to the next episode, right? So thank you all for all the comments, all the likes, all the subscribe. Thank you a lot for being part of the family of Z.Pixel.Bro. And see you in the next one, people. Hell yeah. Peace out.